1 Corinthians 14. 1 Run after love and be zealous for the gifts of the Spirit, but especially that you may prophesy. 2 For whoever speaks in languages does not speak to men, but he is speaking to Jehovah, for no man understands what he speaks, but by the Spirit he speaks mysteries. 3 But he who prophesies speaks edification, encouragement and comfort to children of men. 4 He who speaks in languages builds himself up, and he who prophesies builds the church up. 5 I wish that all of you might speak in languages, but all the more that you may prophesy, for he who prophesies is greater than he who speaks in languages, unless he translates, but if he translates, he edifies the church. 6 And now my brethren, if I come to you and speak languages with you, what do I benefit you, unless I shall speak with you either by revelation or knowledge or by prophecy or by teaching? 7 For even inanimate things which give sound, whether a flute or harp, if they make no distinction between one tone and another, how will anything that is played or anything that is harped be known? 8 For if a trumpet make a sound which is not distinct, who will be prepared for battle? 9 So you also, if you will say words in languages and you will not translate, how will anything be known that you say, for you yourselves will be as one who is speaking to the air? 10 For behold, there are many kinds of languages in the world, and there is not one of them without sound. 11 And if I do not know the import of the sound, I am a foreigner to him who speaks, and also he who speaks is a foreigner to me. 12 So also you, because you are zealous of the gifts of the Spirit, seek to excel for the edification of the church. 13 And he who speaks in languages, let him pray to translate. 14 For if I should pray in languages, my spirit is praying, but my understanding is unfruitful. 15 What therefore shall I do? I shall pray with my spirit, and I shall pray also with my understanding. I shall sing with my spirit, and I shall sing also with my understanding. 16 Otherwise, if you say a blessing in the Spirit, how will he who fills the place of the unlearned say Amen for your giving of thanks, because he does not know what you said? 17 For you bless well, but your neighbor is not edified. 18 I thank Jehovah that I am speaking in languages more than all of you. 19 But in the church I would rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that I may instruct others also, than 10,000 words in languages. 20 My brethren, do not be children in your intellects, but be infants in evil and be fully mature in your intellects. 21 It is written in the law, with foreign speech and with another language I shall speak with this people, and not even in this way will they hear me, says Elohim Jehovah. 22 So then languages are established for a sign, not for believers, but for unbelievers, but prophecy is not for unbelievers, but for those who believe. 23 If therefore it should happen that the whole church assembles and everyone would speak in languages, and the uninitiated or those who are unbelievers should enter, would they not say that such have gone insane? 24 But if all of you would prophesy and the unlearned or an unbeliever should enter, he is searched out by all of you and he is reproved by all of you. 25 And the secrets of his heart are revealed and then he will fall on his face and worship Jehovah and he will say, Truly, Jehovah is in you. 26 I say therefore, my brethren, that whenever you gather, whoever among you has a psalm, let him speak, or whoever has a teaching, or whoever has a revelation, or whoever has a language, or whoever has a translation, let all things be done for edification. 27 And if any speak in languages, let 2 speak, or as many as 3, and let each one speak and let one translate. 28 And if there is no translator, let him who speaks in a language be silent in the church and let him speak to himself and to Jehovah. 29 But let 2 or 3 prophets speak and the others discern. 30 And if something is revealed to another while the first is sitting, let him be quiet. 31 For you can all prophesy one by one, that each person may teach and everyone may be comforted. 32 For the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. 33 Because Jehovah is not chaotic, but peaceful, as in all the assemblies of the holy ones. 34 Let your women be silent in the assemblies, for they are not allowed to speak, but to be in subjection, just as the written law also says. 35 And if they wish to learn anything, let them ask their husbands in their homes, for it is a shame for women to speak in the assembly. 36 Or did the word of Jehovah come forth from you, or does it come unto you alone? 37 But if any of you thinks that he is a prophet or spiritual, let him know that these things I write to you are the commandments of our Elohim. 38 But if a man is ignorant, let him be ignorant. 39 Be zealous therefore, my brethren, to prophesy, and do not forbid to speak in languages. 40 But let everything be done with decorum and with order. 1 Corinthians 15. 1 I teach you, my brethren, the gospel that I preached to you, and you received it and you stand in it too, and by it you have life in that message which I preached to you, if you remember, unless you have believed worthlessly. 3 For I have declared to you from the first, according to that which I have received, the Messiah died for the sake of our sins, just as it is written. 4 And he was buried, and he arose on the third day, according to what is written. 5 And he appeared to Kepha, and after him, to the 12. 6 And after that, he appeared to more than 500 brethren together, many of whom remain until now, and some of them have fallen asleep. 7 And after these things, he appeared to Jacob, and after him, to all the apostles. 8 But to the last of all of them, as if to an aborted baby, he appeared also to me. 9 For I am the least of the apostles, and I am not worthy to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of Jehovah. 10 But by the grace of Jehovah I am whatever I am, and his grace which is in me has not been worthless, but I have labored more than all of them, not I, but his grace that is with me. 11 Whether I, therefore, or they, in this way we preach, and in this way you have believed. 12 But if the Messiah who arose from among the dead is preached, how are there some among you who say there is no life for the dead? 13 And if there is no life for the dead, even the Messiah has not risen. 14 And if the Messiah is not risen, our preaching is worthless and your faith is also worthless. 15 But we are also found to be lying witnesses of Jehovah, for we testified of Jehovah that he raised the Messiah, when he did not raise him. 16 For if those who have died do not live again, not even the Messiah is alive. 17 And if the Messiah is not alive, your faith is empty and you are yet in your sins. 18 Doubtless also those who fell asleep in the Messiah have themselves perished. 19 And if in this life only we hope in the Messiah, so it is that we are more wretched than all people. 20 But now the Messiah is risen from among the dead and is the first fruits of those who sleep. 21 Just as by a man death came, in this way also by a man the dead come to life. 22 For just as by Adam all people die, in this way also by the Messiah they all live. 23 Each person in his order, the Messiah was the first fruits, after this, those who are the Messiahs at his arrival. 24 And then the end will come, when he will deliver the kingdom to Jehovah the Father, when he will destroy every ruler and every authority and all powers. 25 For he is going to reign until all his enemies will be set under his feet. 26 And the last enemy, death, shall be destroyed. 27 For he brought all things to submission under his feet. But when it says, all things are subjected to him, it is understood that it excludes him who subjected all things to him. 28 And when all is subjected to him, then the Son shall be subject to him who subjected all things to him, that Jehovah might be all in all. 29 Otherwise, what shall those do who are baptized for the sake of the dead, if the dead do not live again? Why are they baptized for the sake of the dead? 30 And why are we living in peril every hour? 31 I swear by your pride, my brethren, which I have in our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah, that I die every day. 32 And if, as a citizen of the people, I was cast to wild beasts in Ephesus, what have I gained if the dead do not rise? Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. 33 Be not deceived, evil discourse corrupts pleasant minds. 34 Righteously awaken your hearts and do not sin, for there are some in whom the knowledge of Jehovah does not exist. I say that to your shame. 35 Someone among you will say, how do the dead rise? With what body do they come? 36 Fool! The seed that you plant will not live unless it dies. 37 And the thing which you sow is not that body which is going to be, for you sow a naked grain of wheat or barley or of other grain. 38 But Jehovah gives it a body just as he chooses, and to each one of the grains a body of its nature. 39 But not every body is equal to another, for there is the body of a man and another of an ox and another of a bird and another of a fish. 40 And there is a heavenly body and there is an earthly body, but there is one glory of the heavenly and another of the earthly. 41 And there is one glory of the sun and another glory of the moon and another glory of a star, and one star is greater than another star in glory. 42 Thus also is the life for those who die. It is sown with corruption, it rises without corruption. 43 It is sown with disgrace, it rises with glory, it is sown in weakness, it rises in power. 44 It is sown an animal body, a spiritual body rises, for there is an animal body, and there is a spiritual body. 45 Thus also it is written, Adam the first man was a living soul, the last Adam, the life-giver spirit. 46 But the first was not spiritual, but the animal, and then the spiritual. 47 The first man was dust from the ground, the second man, Elohim Jehovah from heaven. 48 Just as he who was a being of dust, so also is that which is of the dust, and just as he who is the being from heaven, so also is the heavenly. 49 And as we have worn the image of him who is from the dust, so we shall wear the image of him who is from heaven. 50 But this I say, my brethren, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven, neither does corruption inherit indestructibility. 51 Behold, I tell you a mystery, we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be transformed. 52 Suddenly, like the blink of an eye, at the last trumpet, when it shall sound, and the dead shall rise without corruption, and we shall be transformed. 53 For this destructible is going to wear indestructibility, and this mortal shall wear immortality. 54 Whenever this destructible puts on indestructibility and this mortal, immortality, then that word which is written shall come to pass, death is swallowed up by victory. 55 Where is your sting, O death? Where is your victory, O Sheol? 56 But the sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the written law. 57 But thank Jehovah who gives us the victory by our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah. 58 From now on, my brethren and beloved, be steadfast, do not be shaken, but be abounding at all times in the work of Elohim Jehovah, as you know that your toil has not been worthless in Elohim Jehovah. 1 Corinthians 16. 1 But concerning that which has been collected for the saints, just as I have commanded the church of Galatia, do so also. 2 On every Sunday, let each person of you lay aside in his house and keep that which he can, so that when I come there will be no collections. 3 And when I shall come, those whom you elect I shall send with a letter to carry your gift to Jerusalem. 4 But if it is appropriate for me to visit, when I depart, they shall depart with me. 5 But I will come to you when I have passed from Macedonia, for I shall pass through Macedonia. 6 And perhaps I shall remain with you or winter with you, that you may accompany me wherever I go. 7 I do not wish to see you now as I pass by the way, for I hope to tarry for a time with you, if my Elohim allows me. 8 But I am staying in Ephesus until Pentecost. 9 For a great door is opened to me, filled with opportunities and many opponents. 10 But if Timotheus comes to you, see that he will not be intimidated by you, for he cultivates the works of Elohim Jehovah, as do I. 11 Lest therefore any should despise him, but accompany him in peace, that he may come join me, for I wait for him with the brethren. 12 And I have wanted Apollo to come to you very much, my brethren, with the brethren, but doubtless he did not wish to come to you, but when he has time he will come to you. 13 Be alert and stand in the faith, be valiant, be strong. 14 And let all your dealings be with love. 15 But I request of you, my brethren, concerning the house of Estefana, because you know that they are the first generation of Achaia, and they put themselves into the service of the holy ones. 16 That you also will listen to those who are such, and to every person who toils and helps with us. 17 But I rejoice at the arrival of Estefana, of Fortunatus and Achaicus, for they have supplied things to me which you lacked. 18 For they have refreshed my spirit and yours, do therefore recognize those who are such. 19 All the assemblies in Asia invoke your peace, Achalos and Priscilla invoke your peace much in our Elohim, with the assembly that is in their house. 20 All the brethren invoke your peace. Invoke the peace one of another with a holy kiss. 21 Salutations in my own handwriting, Paulus. 22 Whoever does not love our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah, let him be damned. Our Elohim has come. 23 The grace of our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah is with you. 24 And my love is with all of you in the Messiah Yeshua. 2 Corinthians 1. 1 Paul, an apostle of Yeshua the Messiah by the will of Jehovah, and brother Timotheus, to the assembly of Jehovah that is in Corinthus, and to all the holy who are in all Achaia. 2 Grace be with you and peace from Jehovah our Father and from our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah. 3 Blessed is Jehovah the Father of our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah, the Father of mercy and the Jehovah of all comfort, for he who comforts us in all our afflictions, that we also can comfort those who are in all our afflictions, with that comfort by which we are comforted from Jehovah. 5 For just as the sufferings of the Messiah abound in us, in this way our comforts also abound by the Messiah. 6 But if we are afflicted, it is for the sake of your comfort and for the sake of your life that we are afflicted. And if we are comforted, it is so that you may be comforted, and that there may be discipline in you to endure those sufferings that we also suffer. 7 And our hope for you is sure, for we know that if you are partners in suffering, you are also partners in comfort. 8 But we want you to know, brethren, concerning the affliction that we had in Asia, that we were afflicted greatly beyond our power, until we were close to losing our lives. 9 We passed a sentence of death upon ourselves, that we would not trust upon ourselves, but upon Jehovah who raises the dead. 10 He who has delivered us from violent deaths, and again we hope that he will deliver us. 11 By the help of your prayers for our persons, that his gift to us may be a favor done for the sake of the many, that the many may confess him because of us. 12 For our pride is this testimony of our conscience, that in generosity and in purity and in the grace of Jehovah we have been employed in the world, and not in the wisdom of the flesh, and all the more with you and yours. 13 We write nothing else to you but those things that you know and you acknowledge, but I trust that you will acknowledge them until the end. 14 Just as you also have acknowledged a few things, that we are your pride as you are also ours, in the day of our Elohim Yeshua the Messiah. 15 With this trust I was willing from the first to come to you that you might receive double grace. 16 And I shall pass by you to Macedonia, and again from Macedonia I shall come to you, and you will accompany me to Judea. 17 This that I purposed, did I purpose it suddenly? Or perhaps those things that I plan are of the flesh, so that it was necessary for there to be in them, yes, yes. And, no, no. 18 Jehovah is trustworthy, so that our word to you was not yes, and no. 19 For the Son of Jehovah, Yeshua the Messiah, who was preached by us to you, by me, by Silvanus and by Timotheus, was not yes, and no, but in him was, yes. 20 For all the promises of Jehovah in him, that is in the Messiah, were, yes, because of this we give the Amen, by him to the glory of Jehovah. 21 But it is Jehovah who establishes us with you in the Messiah, he who has anointed us. 22 And he has sealed us, and he has given the down payment of his Spirit into our hearts. 23 But I am testifying to Jehovah concerning myself, because I had pity for you, I did not come to Corinthus. 24 Not because we are lords of your faith, but we are helpers of your joy, for it is by faith that you stand. Numbers 8. 1 And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Speak to Aaron, and thou shalt say to him, whenever thou shalt set the lamps in order, the 7 lamps shall give light opposite the candlestick. 3 And Aaron did so, on one side opposite the candlestick he lighted its lamps, as Elohim appointed Moses. 4 And this is the construction of the candlestick, it is solid, golden, its stem, and its lilies, all solid, according to the pattern which Elohim showed Moses, so he made the candlestick. 5 And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 6 Take the Levites out of the midst of the children of Israel, and thou shalt purify them. 7 And thus shalt thou perform their purification, thou shalt sprinkle them with water of purification, and a razor shall come upon the whole of their body, and they shall wash their garments, and shall be clean. 8 And they shall take 1 calf of the herd, and its meat offering, fine flour mingled with oil, and thou shalt take a calf of a year old of the herd for a sin offering. 9 And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of witness, and thou shalt assemble all the congregation of the sons of Israel. 10 And thou shalt bring the Levites before Elohim, and the sons of Israel shall lay their hands upon the Levites. 11 And Aaron shall separate the Levites for a gift before Elohim from the children of Israel, and they shall be prepared to perform the works of Elohim. 12 And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the calves, and thou shalt offer one for a sin offering, and the other for a whole burnt offering to Elohim, to make atonement for them. 13 And thou shalt set the Levites before Elohim, and before Aaron, and before his sons, and thou shalt give them as a gift before Elohim. 14 And thou shalt separate the Levites from the midst of the sons of Israel, and they shall be mine. 15 And afterwards the Levites shall go in to perform the works of the tabernacle of witness, and thou shalt purify them, and present them before Elohim. 16 For these are given to me for a present out of the midst of the children of Israel, I have taken them to myself instead of all the firstborn of the sons of Israel that open every womb. 17 For every firstborn among the children of Israel is mine, whether of man or beast, in the day in which I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them to myself. 18 And I took the Levites in the place of every firstborn among the children of Israel. 19 And I gave the Levites presented as a gift to Aaron and his sons out of the midst of the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of witness, and to make atonement for the children of Israel, thus there shall be none among the sons of Israel to draw nigh to the holy things. 20 And Moses and Aaron, and all the congregation of the children of Israel, did to the Levites as Elohim commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so the sons of Israel did to them. 21 So the Levites purified themselves and washed their garments, and Aaron presented them as a gift before Elohim, and Aaron made atonement for them to purify them. 22 And afterwards the Levites went in to minister in their service in the tabernacle of witness before Aaron, and before his sons, as Elohim appointed Moses concerning the Levites, so they did to them. 23 And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 24 This is the ordinance for the Levites, from 5 and 20 years old and upward, they shall go in to minister in the tabernacle of witness. 25 And from 50 years old the Levites shall cease from the ministry, and shall not work any longer. 26 And his brother shall serve in the tabernacle of witness to keep charges, but he shall not do works, so shalt thou do to the Levites in their charges. Numbers 9. 1 And Elohim spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the 2nd year after they had gone forth from the land of Egypt, in the 1st month, saying, 2 Speak, and let the children of Israel keep the Passover in its season. 3 On the 14th day of the 1st month at even, thou shalt keep it in its season, thou shalt keep it according to its law, and according to its ordinance. 4 And Moses ordered the children of Israel to sacrifice the Passover. 5 On the 14th day of the 1st month in the wilderness of Sinai, as Elohim appointed Moses, so the children of Israel did. 6 And there came men who were unclean by reason of a dead body, and they were not able to keep the Passover on that day, and they came before Moses and Aaron on that day. 7 And those men said to Moses, We are unclean by reason of the dead body of a man, shall we therefore fail to offer the gift to Elohim in its season in the midst of the children of Israel? 8 And Moses said to them, Stand there, and I will hear what charge Elohim will give concerning you. 9 And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 10 Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Whatever man shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or on a journey far off, among you, or among your posterity, he shall then keep the Passover to Elohim. 11 In the 2nd month, on the 14th day, in the evening they shall offer it, with unleavened bread and bitter herbs shall they eat it. 12 They shall not leave of it until the morrow, and they shall not break a bone of it, they shall sacrifice it according to the ordinance of the Passover. 13 And whatsoever man shall be clean, and is not far off on a journey, and shall fail to keep the Passover, that soul shall be cut off from his people, because he has not offered the gift to Elohim in its season, that man shall bear his iniquity. 14 And if there should come to you a stranger in your land, and should keep the Passover to Elohim, he shall keep it according to the law of the Passover and according to its ordinance, there shall be one law for you, both for the stranger, and for the native of the land. 15 And in the day in which the tabernacle was pitched the cloud covered the tabernacle, the place of the testimony, and in the evening there was upon the tabernacle is the appearance of fire till the morning. 16 So it was continually, the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. 17 And when the cloud went up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Israel departed, and in whatever place the cloud rested, there the children of Israel encamped. 18 The children of Israel shall encamp by the command of Elohim, and by the command of Elohim they shall remove, all the days in which the cloud overshadows the tabernacle, the children of Israel shall encamp. 19 And whenever the cloud shall be drawn over the tabernacle for many days, then the children of Israel shall keep the charge of Jehovah, and they shall not remove. 20 And it shall be, whenever the cloud overshadows the tabernacle a number of days, they shall encamp by the word of Elohim, and shall remove by the command of Elohim. 21 And it shall come to pass, whenever the cloud shall remain from the evening till the morning, and in the morning the cloud shall go up, then shall they remove by day or by night. 22 When the cloud continues a full month overshadowing the tabernacle, the children of Israel shall encamp, and shall not depart. 23 For they shall depart by the command of Elohim, they kept the charge of Elohim by the command of Elohim by the hand of Moses. Numbers 10. 1 And Elohim spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Make to thyself 2 silver trumpets, thou shalt make them of beating work, and they shall be to thee for the purpose of calling the assembly, and of removing the camps. 3 And thou shalt sound with them, and all the congregation shall be gathered to the door of the tabernacle of witness. 4 And if they shall sound with one, all the rulers even the princes of Israel shall come to thee. 5 And ye shall sound an alarm, and the camps pitched eastward shall begin to move. 6 And ye shall sound a second alarm, and the camps pitched southward shall move, and ye shall sound a third alarm, and the camps pitched westward shall move forward, and ye shall sound a fourth alarm, and they that encamp toward the north shall move forward, they shall sound an alarm at their departure. 7 And whenever ye shall gather the assembly, ye shall sound, but not an alarm. 8 And the priests the sons of Aaron shall sound with the trumpets, and it shall be a perpetual ordinance for you throughout your generations. 9 And if ye shall go forth to war in your land against your enemies that are opposed to you, then shall ye sound with the trumpets, and ye shall be had in remembrance before Elohim, and ye shall be saved from your enemies. 10 And in the days of your gladness, and in your feasts, and in your new moons, ye shall sound with the trumpets at your whole burnt offerings, and at the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and there shall be a memorial for you before your Jehovah, I am Elohim your Jehovah. 11 And it came to pass in the second year, in the second month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud went up from the tabernacle of witness. 12 And the children of Israel set forward with their baggage in the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. 13 And the first rank departed by the word of Elohim by the hand of Moses. 14 And they first set in motion the order of the camp of the children of Judah with their host, and over their host was Naason, son of Aminadab. 15 And over the host of the tribe of the sons of Issachar, was Nathaniel son of Sogar. 16 And over the host of the tribe of the sons of Zabulon, was Eliab the son of Chalon. 17 And they shall take down the tabernacle, and the sons of Gedson shall set forward, and the sons of Merari, who bear the tabernacle. 18 And the order of the camp of Reuben set forward with their host, and over their host was Eliezer the son of Sedaor. 19 And over the host of the tribe of the sons of Simeon, was Salamiel son of Surisadai. 20 And over the host of the tribe of the children of Gad, was Elisaph the son of Ragal. 21 And the sons of Koth shall set forward bearing the holy things, and the others shall set up the tabernacle until they arrive. 22 And the order of the camp of Ephraim shall set forward with their forces, and over their forces was Elisama the son of Semiat. 23 And over the forces of the tribes of the sons of Manasseh, was Gamaliel the son of Phattashur. 24 And over the forces of the tribe of the children of Benjamin, was Abidan the son of Gadaoni. 25 And the order of the camp of the sons of Dan shall set forward the last of all the camps, with their forces, and over their forces was Achizar the son of Amisadai. 26 And over the forces of the tribe of the sons of Azar, was Phagiel the son of Ekron. 27 And over the forces of the tribe of the sons of Naphtali, was Achir the son of Enan. 28 These are the armies of the children of Israel, and they set forward with their forces. 29 And Moses said to Obab the son of Ragal the Madianite, the father-in-law of Moses, We are going forward to the place concerning which Elohim said, This will I give to you, come with us, and we will do thee good, for Elohim has spoken good concerning Israel. 30 And he said to him, I will not go, but I will go to my land and to my kindred. 31 And he said, Leave us not because thou hast been with us in the wilderness, and thou shalt be an elder among us. 32 And it shall come to pass if thou wilt go with us, it shall even come to pass that in whatsoever things Elohim shall do us good, we will also do thee good. 33 And they departed from the mount of Elohim a 3 days' journey, and the ark of the covenant of Elohim went before them a 3 days' journey to provide rest for them. 34 And the cloud overshadowed them by day, when they departed from the camp. 35 And it came to pass when the ark set forward, that Moses said, Arise, O Elohim, and let thine enemies be scattered, let all that hate thee flee. 36 And in the resting he said, Turn again, O Elohim, the thousands and tens of thousands in Israel. Numbers 11. 1 And the people murmured sinfully before Elohim, and Elohim heard them and was very angry, and fire was kindled among them from Elohim, and devoured a part of the camp. 2 And the people cried to Moses, and Moses prayed to Elohim, and the fire was quenched. 3 And the name of that place was called Burning, for a fire was kindled among them from Elohim. 4 And the mixed multitude among them lusted exceedingly, and they and the children of Israel sat down and wept and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? 5 We remember the fish, which we ate in Egypt freely, and the cucumbers, and the melons, and the leeks, and the garlic, and the onions. 6 But now our soul is dried up, our eyes turn to nothing but to the manna. 7 And the manna is coriander seed, and the appearance of it the appearance of hoar frost. 8 And the people went through the field, and gathered, and ground it in the mill, or pounded it in a mortar, and baked it in a pan, and made cakes of it, and the sweetness of it was as the taste of wafer made with oil. 9 And when the dew came upon the camp by night the manna came down upon it. 10 And Moses heard them weeping by their families, every one in his door, and Elohim was very angry, and the thing was evil in the sight of Moses. 11 And Moses said to Elohim, Why hast thou afflicted thy servant, and why have I not found grace in thy sight that thou shouldest lay the weight of this people upon me? 12 Have I conceived all this people, or have I borne them? That thou sayest to me, Take them into thy bosom, as a nurse would take her suckling, into the land which thou swarest to their fathers. 13 Whence have I flesh to give to all this people? For they weep to me, saying, Give us flesh, that we may eat. 14 I shall not be able to bear this people alone, for this thing is too heavy for me. 15 And if thou doest thus to me, slay me utterly, if I have found favor with thee, that I may not see my affliction. 16 And Elohim said to Moses, Gather me 70 men from the elders of Israel, whom thou thyself knowest that they are the elders of the people, and their scribes, and thou shalt bring them to the tabernacle of witness, and they shall stand there with thee. 17 And I will go down, and speak there with thee, and I will take of the Spirit that is upon thee, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear together with thee the burden of the people, and thou shalt not bear them alone. 18 And to the people thou shalt say, Purify yourselves for the morrow, and ye shall eat flesh, for ye wept before Elohim, saying, Who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt, and Elohim shall allow you to eat flesh, and ye shall eat flesh. 19 Ye shall not eat 1 day, nor 2, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days. 20 Ye shall eat for a full month, until the flesh come out at your nostrils, and it shall be nausea to you, because ye disobeyed Elohim, who is among you, and wept before him, saying, What had we to do to come out of Egypt? 21 And Moses said, The people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou saidst, I will give them flesh to eat, and they shall eat a whole month. 22 Shall sheep and oxen be slain for them, and shall it suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, and shall it suffice them? 23 And Elohim said to Moses, Shall not the hand of Elohim be fully sufficient? Now shalt thou know whether my word shall come to pass to thee or not. 24 And Moses went out, and spoke the words of Elohim to the people, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and he set them round about the tabernacle. 25 And Elohim came down in a cloud, and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and put it upon the 70 men that were elders, and when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and ceased. 26 And there were 2 men left in the camp, the name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Modad, and the Spirit rested upon them, and these were of the number of them that were enrolled, but they did not come to the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. 27 And a young man ran and told Moses, and spoke, saying, Eldad and Modad prophesy in the camp. 28 And Joshua the son of Nun, who attended on Moses, the chosen one, said, My lord Moses, forbid them. 29 And Moses said to him, Art thou jealous on my account? And would that all Elohim's people were prophets, whenever Elohim shall put his Spirit upon them. 30 And Moses departed into the camp, himself and the elders of Israel. 31 And there went forth a wind from Elohim, and brought quails over from the sea, and it brought them down upon the camp a day's journey on this side, and a day's journey on that side, round about the camp, as it were 2 cubits from the earth. 32 And the people rose up all the day, and all the night, and all the next day, and gathered quails, he that gathered least, gathered 10 measures, and they refreshed themselves round about the camp. 33 The flesh was yet between their teeth, before it failed, when Elohim was wroth with the people, and Elohim smote the people with a very great plague. 34 And the name of that place was called the graves of lust, for there they buried the people that lusted. 35 The people departed from the graves of lust to Asaroth, and the people halted at Asaroth. Numbers 12. 1 And Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses, because of the Ethiopian woman whom Moses took, for he had taken an Ethiopian woman. 2 And they said, Has Elohim spoken to Moses only? Has he not also spoken to us? And Elohim heard it. 3 And the man Moses was very meek beyond all the men that were upon the earth. 4 And Elohim said immediately to Moses and Aaron and Miriam, Come forth all 3 of you to the tabernacle of witness. 5 And the 3 came forth to the tabernacle of witness, and Elohim descended in a pillar of a cloud, and stood at the door of the tabernacle of witness, and Aaron and Miriam were called, and both came forth. 6 And he said to them, Hear my words, if there should be of you a prophet to Elohim, I will be made known to him in a vision, and in sleep will I speak to him. 7 My servant Moses is not so, he is faithful in all my house. 8 I will speak to him mouth to mouth apparently, and not in dark speeches, and he has seen the glory of Elohim, and why were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? 9 And the great anger of Elohim was upon them, and he departed. 10 And the cloud departed from the tabernacle, and, behold, Miriam was leprous, white as snow, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and, behold, she was leprous. 11 And Aaron said to Moses, I beseech thee, my Lord, do not lay sin upon us, for we were ignorant wherein we sinned. 12 Let her not be as it were like death, as an abortion coming out of his mother's womb, when the disease devours the half of the flesh. 13 And Moses cried to Elohim, saying, O Jehovah, I beseech thee, heal her. 14 And Elohim said to Moses, If her father had only spit in her face, would she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be set apart 7 days without the camp, and afterwards she shall come in. 15 And Miriam was separated without the camp 7 days, and the people moved not forward till Miriam was cleansed. 16 And afterwards the people set forth from Asaroth, and encamped in the wilderness of Pharan. Zephaniah 2. 1 Be ye gathered and closely joined together, O unchastened nation. 2 Before ye become as the flower that passes away, before the anger of Elohim come upon you, before the day of the wrath of Elohim come upon you. 3 Seek ye Elohim, all ye meek of the earth, do judgment, and seek justice, and answer accordingly, that ye may be hid in the day of the wrath of Elohim. 4 For Gaza shall be utterly spoiled, and Ascalon shall be destroyed, and Azotus shall be cast forth at noonday, and Akern shall be rooted up. 5 Woe to them that dwell on the border of the sea, neighbors of the Cretans. The word of Elohim is against you, O Chanaan, land of the Philistines, and I will destroy you out of your dwelling place. 6 And Crete shall be a pasture of flocks, and a fold of sheep. 7 And the sea coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah, they shall pasture upon them in the houses of Ascalon, they shall rest in the evening because of the children of Judah, for Elohim their Jehovah has visited them, and he will turn away their captivity. 8 I have heard the revilings of Moab, and the insults of the children of Ammon, wherewith they have reviled my people, and magnified themselves against my coasts. 9 Therefore, as I lived saith Elohim of hosts, the Jehovah of Israel, Moab shall be as Sodoma, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, and Damascus shall be left as a heap of the threshing floor, and desolate forever, and the remnant of my people shall plunder them, and the remnant of my nations shall inherit them. 10 This is their punishment in return for their haughtiness, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against Elohim Almighty. 11 Elohim shall appear against them, and shall utterly destroy all the gods of the nations of the earth, and they shall worship him every one from his place, even all the islands of the nations. 12 Ye Ethiopians also are the slain of my sword. 13 And he shall stretch forth his hand against the north and destroy the Assyrian, and make Nineveh a dry wilderness, even as a desert. 14 And flocks, and all the wild beasts of the land, and chameleons shall feed in the midst thereof, and hedgehogs shall lodge in the ceilings thereof, and wild beasts shall cry in the breaches thereof, and ravens in her porches, whereas her loftiness was as a cedar. 15 This is the scornful city that dwells securely, that says in her heart, I am, and there is no longer any to be after me. How is she become desolate, a habitation of wild beasts? Every one that passes through her shall hiss, and shake his hands. Zephaniah 3. 1 Alas the glorious and ransomed city! 2 The dove hearkened not to the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in Elohim, and she drew not near to her Jehovah. 3 Her princes within her were as roaring lions, her judges as the wolves of Arabia, they remained not till the morrow. 4 Her prophets are light and scornful men, her priests profane the holy things, and sinfully transgress the law. 5 But the just Elohim is in the midst of her, and he will never do an unjust thing, morning by morning he will bring out his judgment to the light, and it is not hidden, and he knows not injustice by extortion, nor injustice in strife. 6 I have brought down the proud with destruction, their corners are destroyed, I will make their ways completely waste, so that none shall go through, their cities are come to an end, by reason of no man living or dwelling in them. 7 I said, But do ye fear me, and receive instruction, and ye shall not be cut off from the face of the land for all the vengeance I have brought upon her, prepare thou, rise early, all their produce is spoiled. 8 Therefore wait upon me, saith Elohim, until the day when I rise up for a witness, because my judgment shall be on the gatherings of the nations, to draw to me kings, to pour out upon them all my fierce anger, for the whole earth shall be consumed with the fire of my jealousy. 9 For then will I turn to the peoples a tongue for her generation, that all may call on the name of Elohim, to serve him under one yoke. 10 From the boundaries of the rivers of Ethiopia will I receive my dispersed ones, they shall offer sacrifices to me. 11 In that day thou shalt not be ashamed of all thy practices, wherein thou hast transgressed against me, for then will I take away from thee thy disdainful pride, and thou shalt no more magnify thyself upon my holy mountain. 12 And I will leave in thee a meek and lowly people. 13 And the remnant of Israel shall fear the name of Elohim, and shall do no iniquity, neither shall they speak vanity, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed, and lie down, and there shall be none to terrify them. 14 Rejoice, O daughter of Sion, cry aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem, rejoice and delight thyself with all thine heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. 15 Elohim has taken away thine iniquities, he has ransomed thee from the hand of thine enemies, Elohim, the King of Israel, is in the midst of thee, thou shalt not see evil any more. 16 At that time Elohim shall say to Jerusalem, Be of good courage, Sion, let not thine hands be slack. 17 Elohim thy Jehovah is in thee, the mighty one shall save thee, he shall bring joy upon thee, and shall refresh thee with his love, and he shall rejoice over thee with delight as in a day of feasting. 18 And I will gather thine afflicted ones. Alas! Who has taken up a reproach against her? 19 Behold, I will work in thee for thy sake at that time, saith Elohim, and I will save her that was oppressed, and receive her that was rejected, and I will make them a praise, and honored in all the earth. 20 And their enemies shall be ashamed at that time, when I shall deal well with you, and at the time when I shall receive you, for I will make you honored and a praise among all the nations of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before you, saith Elohim. Jeremiah 1. 1 The word of Jehovah which came to Jeremiah the son of Chelcias, of the priests, who dwelt in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, 2 Accordingly as the word of Jehovah came to him in the days of Hosea son of Amos king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. 3 And it was in the days of Joachim, son of Hosea king of Judah, until the 11th year of Sedekias king of Judah, even until the captivity of Jerusalem in the 5th month. 4 And the word of Elohim came to him, saying, 5 Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth from the womb, I sanctified thee, I appointed thee a prophet to the nations. 6 And I said, O Elohim, thou that art supreme Elohim, behold, I know not how to speak, for I am a child. 7 And Elohim said to me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all to whomsoever I shall send thee, and according to all the words that I shall command thee, thou shalt speak. 8 Be not afraid before them, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith Elohim. 9 And Elohim stretched forth his hand to me, and touched my mouth, and Elohim said to me, Behold, I have put my words into thy mouth. 10 Behold, I have appointed thee this day over nations and over kingdoms, to root out, and to pull down, and to destroy, and to rebuild, and to plant. 11 And the word of Elohim came to me, saying, What seest thou? And I said, A rod of an almond tree. 12 And Elohim said to me, Thou hast well seen, for I have watched over my words to perform them. 13 And the word of Elohim came to me a second time, saying, What seest thou? And I said, A cauldron on the fire, and the face of it is toward the north. 14 And Elohim said to me, From the north shall flame forth evils upon all the inhabitants of the land. 15 For, behold, I call together all the kingdoms of the earth from the north, saith Elohim, and they shall come, and shall set each one his throne at the entrance of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all the walls round about her, and against all the cities of Judah. 16 And I will speak to them in judgment, concerning all their iniquity, forasmuch as they have forsaken me, and sacrificed to strange gods, and worshipped the works of their own hands. 17 And do thou gird up thy loins, and stand up, and speak all the words that I shall command thee, be not afraid of their face, neither be thou alarmed before them, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith Elohim. 18 Behold, I have made thee this day as a strong city, and as a brazen wall, strong against all the kings of Judah, and the princes thereof, and the people of the land. 19 And they shall fight against thee, but they shall by no means prevail against thee, because I am with thee, to deliver thee, saith Elohim. Jeremiah 2. 1 And he said, Thus saith Elohim, 2 I remember the kindness of thy youth, and the love of thine espousals. 3 And following the Holy One of Israel, saith Elohim, Israel was the holy people to Elohim, and the first fruits of his increase, all that devoured him shall offend, evils shall come upon them, saith Elohim. 4 Hear the word of Elohim, O house of Jacob, and every family of the house of Israel. 5 Thus saith Elohim, what trespass have your fathers found in me, that they have revolted far from me, and gone after vanities, and become vain. 6 And they said not, where is Elohim, who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, who guided us in the wilderness, in an untried and trackless land, in a land which no man at all went through, and no man dwelt there. 7 And I brought you to Carmel, that ye should eat the fruits thereof, and the good thereof, and ye went in, and defiled my land, and made mine heritage an abomination. 8 The priests said not, where is Elohim? And they that held by the law knew me not. The shepherds also sinned against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and went after that which profited not. 9 Therefore I will yet plead with you, and will plead with your children's children. 10 For go to the isles of the Chettians, and send to Kedar, and observe accurately, and see if such things have been done. 11 If the nations will change their gods, though they are not gods, but my people have changed their glory, for that from which they shall not be profited. 12 The heaven is amazed at this, and is very exceedingly horror-struck, saith Elohim. 13 For my people has committed 2 faults, and evil ones, they have forsaken me, the fountain of water of life, and hewn out for themselves broken cisterns, which will not be able to hold water. 14 Is Israel a servant, or a home-born slave? Why has he become a spoil? 15 The lions roared upon him, and uttered their voice, which have made his land a wilderness, and his cities are broken down, that they should not be inhabited. 16 Also the children of Memphis and Taphnis have known thee, and mocked thee. 17 Has not thy forsaking me brought these things upon thee? Saith Elohim thy Jehovah. 18 And now what hast thou to do with the way of Egypt, to drink the water of Gihon? And what hast thou to do with the way of the Assyrians, to drink the water of rivers? 19 Thine apostasy shall correct thee, and thy wickedness shall reprove thee. Know then, and see, that thy forsaking me has been bitter to thee, saith Elohim thy Jehovah, and I have taken no pleasure in thee, saith Elohim thy Jehovah. 20 For of old thou hast broken thy yoke, and plucked asunder thy bands, and thou hast said, I will not serve thee, but will go upon every high hill, and under every shady tree, there will I indulge in my fornication. 21 Yet I planted thee a fruitful vine, entirely of the right sort, how art thou a strange vine turned to bitterness? 22 Though thou shouldest wash thyself with nitre, and multiply to thyself soap, still thou art stained by thine iniquities before me, saith Elohim. 23 How wilt thou say, I am not polluted, and have not gone after Baal? Behold thy ways in the burial ground, and know what thou hast done. Her voice has howled in the evening. 24 She has extended her ways over the waters of the desert, she was hurried along by the lusts of her soul, she is given up to them, who will turn her back. None that seek her shall be weary, at the time of her humiliation they shall find her. 25 Withdraw thy foot from a rough way, and they throat from thirst, but she said I will strengthen myself, for she loved strangers, and went after them. 26 As is the shame of a thief when he is caught, so shall the children of Israel be ashamed, they, and their kings, and their princes, and their priests, and their prophets. 27 They said to a stock, Thou art my father, and to a stone, Thou hast begotten me, and they have turned their backs to me, and not their faces, yet in the time of their afflictions they will say, Arise, and save us. 28 And where are thy gods, which thou madest for thyself? Will they arise and save in the time of thine affliction? For according to the number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem they sacrificed to Baal. 29 Wherefore do ye speak unto me? Ye all have been ungodly, and ye all have transgressed against me, saith Elohim. 30 In vain have I smitten your children, ye have not received correction, a sword has devoured your prophets as a destroying lion, yet ye feared not. 31 Hear ye the word of Elohim, thus saith Elohim, Have I been a wilderness or a dry land to Israel? Wherefore has my people said, We will not be ruled over, and will not come to thee any more. 32 Will a bride forget her ornaments, or a virgin her girdle? But my people has forgotten me days without number. 33 What fair device wilt thou yet employ in thy ways, so as to seek love? It shall not be so, moreover thou hast done wickedly in corrupting thy ways. 34 And in thine hands has been found the blood of innocent souls, I have not found them in holes, but on every oak. 35 Yet thou sayest, I am innocent, only let his wrath be turned away from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, whereas thou sayest, I have not sinned. 36 For thou hast been so exceedingly contemptuous as to repeat thy ways, but thou shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou wast ashamed of Ashur. 37 For thou shalt go forth thence also with thine hands upon thine head, for Elohim has rejected thine hope, and thou shalt not prosper in it. Jeremiah 3. 1 If a man put away his wife, and she depart from him, and become another man's, shall she return to him any more at all? Shall not that woman be utterly defiled? Ye thou hast gone a whoring with many shepherds, and hast returned to me, saith Elohim. 2 Lift up thine eyes to look straight forward, and see where thou hast not been utterly defiled. Thou hast sat for them by the wayside as a deserted crow, and hast defiled the land with thy fornications and thy wickedness. 3 And thou didst retain many shepherds for a stumbling block to thyself, thou hadst a whore's face, thou didst become shameless toward all. 4 Hast thou not called me as it were a home, and the father and guide of thy virgin time? 5 Will Jehovah's anger continue forever, or be preserved to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done these bad things, and hadst power to do them. 6 And Elohim said to me in the days of Hoseas the king, Hast thou seen what things the house of Israel has done to me? They have gone on every high mountain, and under every shady tree, and have committed fornication there. 7 And I said after she had committed all these acts of fornication, Turn again to me. Yet she returned not. And faithless Judah saw her faithlessness. 8 And I saw that, for all the sins of which she was convicted, wherein the house of Israel committed adultery, and I put her away, and gave into her hands a bill of divorcement, yet faithless Judah feared not, but went and herself also committed fornication. 9 And her fornication was nothing accounted of, and she committed adultery with wood and stone. 10 And for all these things faithless Judah turned not to me with all her heart, but falsely. 11 And Elohim said to me, Israel has justified himself more than faithless Judah. 12 Go and read these words toward the north, and thou shalt say, Return to me, O house of Israel, saith Elohim, and I will not set my face against you, for I am merciful, saith Elohim, and I will not be angry with you forever. 13 Nevertheless, know thine iniquity, that thou hast sinned against Elohim thy Jehovah, and hast scattered thy ways to strangers under every shady tree. But thou didst not hearken to my voice, saith Elohim. 14 Turn, ye children that have revolted, saith Elohim, for I will rule over you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you into Sion. 15 And I will give you shepherds after my heart, and they shall certainly tend you with knowledge. 16 And it shall come to pass that when ye are multiplied and increased upon the land, saith Elohim, in those days they shall say no more, The ark of the covenant of the Holy One of Israel, it shall not come to mind, it shall not be named, neither shall it be visited, nor shall this be done any more. 17 In those days and at that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Elohim, and all the nations shall be gathered to it, and they shall not walk any more after the imaginations of their evil heart. 18 In those days the house of Judah shall come together to the house of Israel, and they shall come together from the land of the north, and from all the countries, to the land which I caused their fathers to inherit. 19 And I said, So be it, Elohim, for thou saidst I will set thee among children, and will give thee a choice land, the inheritance of the Almighty Jehovah of the Gentiles, and I said, Ye shall call me Father, and ye shall not turn away from me. 20 But as a wife acts treacherously against her husband, so has the house of Israel dealt treacherously against me, saith Elohim. 21 A voice from the lips was heard, even of weeping and supplication of the children of Israel, for they have dealt unrighteously in their ways, they have forgotten Jehovah their Holy One. 22 Turn, ye children that are given to turning, and I will heal your bruises. Behold, we will be thy servants, for thou art Elohim our Jehovah. 23 Truly the hills and the strength of the mountains were a lying refuge, but by Elohim our Jehovah is the salvation of Israel. 24 But shame has consumed the labors of our fathers from our youth, their sheep and their calves, and their sons and their daughters. 25 We have lain down in our shame, and our disgrace has covered us, because we and our fathers have sinned before our Jehovah, from our youth until this day, and we have not hearkened to the voice of Elohim our Jehovah. Jeremiah 4. 1 If Israel will return to me, saith Elohim, he shall return, and if he will remove his abominations out of his mouth, and fear before me, and swear to Elohim lives, with truth, in judgment and righteousness, then shall nations bless by him, and by him they shall praise Jehovah in Jerusalem. 3 For thus saith Elohim to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Break up fresh ground for yourselves, and sow not among thorns. 4 Circumcise yourselves to your Jehovah, and circumcise your hardness of heart, ye men of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my wrath go forth as fire, and burn, and there be none to quench it because of the evil of your devices. 5 Declare ye in Judah, and let it be heard in Jerusalem, say ye, sound the trumpet in the land, cry ye aloud, say ye, gather yourselves together, and let us enter into the fortified cities. 6 Gather up your wares and flee to Sion, hasten, stay not, for I will bring evils from the north, and great destruction. 7 The lion is gone up from his lair, he has roused himself to the destruction of the nations, and has gone forth out of his place, to make the land desolate, and the cities shall be destroyed, so as to be without inhabitant. 8 For these things gird yourselves with sackclothes, and lament, and howl, for the anger of Elohim is not turned away from you. 9 And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Elohim, that the heart of the king shall perish, and the heart of the princes, and the priests shall be amazed, and the prophets shall wonder. 10 And I said, O sovereign Elohim, verily thou hast deceived this people and Jerusalem, saying, there shall be peace, whereas behold, the sword has reached even to their soul. 11 At that time they shall say to this people and to Jerusalem, there is a spirit of error in the wilderness, the way of the daughter of my people is not to purity, nor to holiness. 12 But a spirit of full vengeance shall come upon me, and now I declare my judgments against them. 13 Behold, he shall come up as a cloud, and his chariots as a tempest, his horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us! For we are in misery. 14 Cleanse thine heart from wickedness, O Jerusalem, that thou mayest be saved. How long will thy grievous thoughts be within thee? 15 For a voice of one publishing from Dan shall come, and trouble out of Mount Ephraim shall be heard of. 16 Remind ye the nations, behold, they are come, proclaim it in Jerusalem, that bands are approaching from a land afar off, and have uttered their voice against the cities of Judah. 17 As keepers of a field, they have surrounded her, because thou, saith Elohim, has neglected me. 18 Thy ways and thy devices have brought these things upon thee, this is thy wickedness, for it is bitter, for it has reached to thy heart. 19 I am pained in my bowels, and the sensitive powers of my heart, my soul is in great commotion, my heart is torn, I will not be silent, for my soul has heard the sound of a trumpet, the cry of war, and of distress, it calls on destruction. 20 For all the land is distressed, suddenly my tabernacle is distressed, my curtains have been rent asunder. 21 How long shall I see fugitives, and hear the sound of the trumpet? 22 For the princes of my people have not known me, they are foolish and unwise children, they are wise to do evil, but how to do good they have not known. 23 I looked upon the earth, and, behold, it was not, and to the sky, and there was no light in it. 24 I beheld the mountains, and they trembled, and I saw all the hills in commotion. 25 I looked, and behold, there was no man, and all the birds of the sky were scared. 26 I saw, and, behold, Carmel was desert, and all the cities were burnt with fire at the presence of Elohim, and at the presence of his fierce anger they were utterly destroyed. 27 Thus saith Elohim, the whole land shall be desolate, but I will not make a full end. 28 For these things let the earth mourn, and let the sky be dark above, for I have spoken, and I will not repent, I have purposed, and I will not turn back from it. 29 The whole land has recoiled from the noise of the horseman and the bent bow, they have gone into the caves, and have hidden themselves in the groves, and have gone up upon the rocks, every city was abandoned, no man dwelt in them. 30 And what wilt thou do? Though thou clothe thyself with scarlet, and adorn thyself with golden ornaments, though thou adorn thine eyes with stibium, thy beauty will be in vain, thy lovers have rejected thee, they seek thy life. 31 For I have heard thy groaning as the voice of a woman in travail, as of her that brings forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion shall fail through weakness, and she shall lose the strength of her hands, saying, Woe is me! For my soul faints because of the slain. Jeremiah 5. 1 Run ye about in the streets of Jerusalem, and see, and know, and seek in her broad places, if ye can find one, if there is any one that does judgment, and seeks faithfulness, and I will pardon them, saith Elohim. 2 Elohim lives, they say, do they not therefore swear falsely? 3 O Elohim, thine eyes are upon faithfulness, thou hast scourged them, but they have not grieved, thou hast consumed them, but they would not receive correction, they have made their faces harder than a rock, and they would not return. 4 Then I said, it may be they are poor, for they are weak, for they know not the way of Elohim, or the judgment of Jehovah. 5 I will go to the rich men, and will speak to them, for they have known the way of Elohim, and the judgment of Jehovah, but behold, with one consent they have broken the yoke, they have burst the bonds. 6 Therefore has a lion out of the forest smitten them, and a wolf has destroyed them even to their houses, and a leopard has watched against their cities, all that go forth from them shall be hunted, for they have multiplied their ungodliness, they have strengthened themselves in their revoltings. 7 In what way shall I forgive thee for these things? Thy sons have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods, and I fed them to the full, and they committed adultery, and lodged in harlots' houses. 8 They became as wanton horses, they neighed each one after his neighbor's wife. 9 Shall I not visit for these things? Saith Elohim, and shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? 10 Go up upon her battlements, and break them down, but make not a full end, leave her buttresses, for they are Elohim's. 11 For the house of Israel have indeed dealt treacherously against me, saith Elohim, the house of Judah also. 12 Have lied to their Elohim, and they have said, These things are not so, no evils shall come upon us, and we shall not see sword or famine. 13 Our prophets became wind, and the word of Elohim was not in them. 14 Therefore thus saith Elohim Almighty, because ye have spoken this word, behold, I have made my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. 15 Behold, I will bring upon you a nation from far, O house of Israel, saith Elohim, a nation the sound of whose language one shall not understand. 16 They are all mighty men. 17 And they shall devour you harvest, and your bread, and shall devour your sons, and your daughters, and they shall devour your sheep, and your calves, and devour your vineyards, and your fig plantations, and your olive yards, and they shall utterly destroy your strong cities, wherein ye trusted, with the sword. 18 And it shall come to pass in those days, saith Elohim thy Jehovah, that I will not utterly destroy you. 19 And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, Wherefore has Elohim our Jehovah done all these things to us? That thou shalt say to them, Because ye served strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in a land that is not yours. 20 Proclaim these things to the house of Jacob, and let them be heard in the house of Judah. 21 Hear ye now these things, O foolish and senseless people, who have eyes, and see not, and have ears, and hear not. 22 Will ye not be afraid of me? Saith Elohim, and will ye not fear before me, who have set the sand for a bound to the sea, as a perpetual ordinance, and it shall not pass it, yea, it shall rage, but not prevail, and its waves shall roar, but not pass over it. 23 But this people has a disobedient and rebellious heart, and they have turned aside and gone back. 24 And they have not said in their heart, Let us fear now Elohim our Jehovah, who gives us the early and latter rain, according to the season of the fulfillment of the ordinance of harvest, and has preserved it for us. 25 Your transgressions have turned away these things, and your sins have removed good things from you. 26 For among my people were found ungodly men, and they have set snares to destroy men, and have caught them. 27 As a snare which has been set is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit, therefore have they grown great, and become rich. 28 And they have transgressed the rule of judgment, they have not judged the cause of the orphan, nor have they judged the cause of the widow. 29 Shall I not visit for these things? Saith Elohim, and shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? 30 Shocking and horrible deeds have been done on the land. 31 The prophets utter unrighteous prophecies, and the priests have clapped their hands, and my people has loved to have it thus, and what will ye do for the future? Jeremiah 6. 1 Strengthen yourselves, ye children of Benjamin, to flee out of the midst of Jerusalem, and sound an alarm with the trumpet in Tekoa, and set up a signal over Bethacharma, for evil threatens from the north, and a great destruction is coming. 2 And thy pride, O daughter of Sion, shall be taken away. 3 The shepherds and their flocks shall come to her, and they shall pitch their tents against her round about, and shall feed their flocks each with his hand. 4 Prepare yourselves for war against her, rise up, and let us go up against her at noon. Woe to us! For the day has gone down, for the shadows of the day fail. 5 Rise, and let us go up against her by night, and destroy her foundations. 6 For thus saith Elohim, hew down her trees, array a numerous force against Jerusalem. O false city, there is all oppression in her. 7 As a cistern cools water, so her wickedness cools her, ungodliness and misery shall be heard in her, as continually before her. 8 Thou shalt be chastened, O Jerusalem, with pain and the scourge, lest my soul depart from thee, lest I make thee a desert land, which shall not be inhabited. 9 For thus saith Elohim, glean thoroughly as a vine the remnant of Israel, turn back your hands as a grape gatherer to his basket. 10 To whom shall I speak, and testify, that he may hearken? Behold, thine ears are uncircumcised, and they shall not be able to hear. Behold, the word of Elohim is become to them a reproach, they will not at all desire it. 11 And I allowed my wrath to come to full, yet I kept it in, and did not utterly destroy them. I will pour it out on the children without, and on the assembly of young men together, for man and woman shall be taken together, the old man with him that is full of days. 12 And their houses shall be turned to others, with their fields and their wives together, for I will stretch out my hand upon the inhabitants of this land, saith Elohim. 13 For from the least of them even to the greatest they have all committed iniquity, from the priest even to the false prophet they have all wrought falsely. 14 And they healed the breach of my people imperfectly, making light of it, and saying, Peace, peace, and where is peace? 15 They were ashamed because they failed, yet they were not ashamed as those who are truly ashamed, and they knew not their own disgrace, therefore shall they utterly fall when they do fall, and in the time of visitation shall they perish, said Elohim. 16 Thus saith Elohim, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths of Elohim, and see what is the good way, and walk in it, and ye shall find purification for your souls. But they said, we will not walk in them. 17 I have set watchmen over you, saying, hear ye the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hear it. 18 Therefore have the nations heard, and they that feed their flocks. 19 Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evils upon this people, even the fruit of their rebellions, for they have not heeded my words, and they have rejected my law. 20 Wherefore do ye bring me frankincense from Saba, and cinnamon from a land afar off? Your whole burnt offerings are not acceptable, and your sacrifices have not been pleasant to me. 21 Therefore thus saith Elohim, behold, I will bring weakness upon this people, and the fathers and sons shall be weak together, the neighbor and his friend shall perish. 22 Thus saith Elohim, behold, a people comes from the north, and nations shall be stirred up from the end of the earth. 23 They shall lay hold on bow and spear, the people is fierce, and will have no mercy, their voice is as the roaring sea, they shall array themselves for war against thee as fire on horses and chariots, O daughter of Sion. 24 We have heard the report of them, our hands are weakened, anguish has seized us, the pangs as of a woman in travail. 25 Go not forth into the field, and walk not in the ways, for the sword of the enemy lingers round about. 26 O daughter of my people, gird thyself with sackcloth, sprinkle thyself with ashes, make for thyself pitiable lamentation, as the mourning for a beloved son, for misery will come suddenly upon you. 27 I have caused thee to be tried among tried nations, and thou shalt know me when I have tried their way. 28 They are all disobedient, walking perversely, they are brass and iron, they are all corrupted. 29 The bellows have failed from the fire, the lead has failed, the silversmith works at his trade in vain, their wickedness is not consumed. 30 Call ye them reprobate silver, because Elohim has rejected them. Jeremiah 7. 2 Hear ye the word of Elohim, all Judea. 3 Thus saith Elohim Jehovah of Israel, correct your ways and your devices, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. 4 Trust not in yourselves with lying words, for they shall not profit you at all, saying, it is the temple of Elohim, the temple of Elohim. 5 For if ye thoroughly correct your ways and your practices, and do indeed execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, 6 And oppress not the stranger, and the orphan, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, and go not after strange gods to your hurt, 7 Then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land which I gave to your fathers of old and forever. 8 But whereas ye have trusted in lying words, whereby ye shall not be profited, 9 And ye murder, and commit adultery, and steal, and swear falsely, and burn incense to Baal, and are gone after strange gods whom ye know not, 10 So that it is evil with you, yet have ye come, and stood before me in the house, whereon my name is called, and ye have said, we have refrained from doing all these abominations. 11 Is my house, whereon my name is called, a den of robbers in your eyes. And, behold, I have seen it, saith Elohim. 12 For go ye to my place with as in Silo, where I caused my name to dwell before, and see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. 13 And now, because ye have done all these deeds, and I spoke to you, but ye hearkened not to me, and I called you, but ye answered not. 14 Therefore I also will do to the house whereon my name is called, wherein ye trust, and to the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I did to Silo. 15 And I will cast you out of my sight, as I cast away your brethren, all the seed of Ephraim. 16 Therefore pray not thou for this people, and intercede not for them to be pitied, yea, pray not, and approach me not for them, for I will not hearken unto thee. 17 Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem? 18 Their children gather wood, and their fathers kindle a fire, and their women knead dough, to make cakes to the host of heaven, and they have poured out drink offerings to strange gods, that they might provoke me to anger. 19 Did they provoke me to anger? Saith Elohim, do they not provoke themselves, that their faces may be ashamed? 20 Therefore thus saith Elohim, Behold, my anger and wrath shall be poured out upon this place, and upon the men, and upon the cattle, and upon every tree of their field, and upon the fruits of the land, and it shall burn, and not be quenched. 21 Thus saith Elohim, Gather your whole burnt offerings with your meat offerings, and eat flesh. 22 For I spoke not to your fathers, and commanded them not in the day wherein I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, concerning whole burnt offerings and sacrifice. 23 But I commanded them this thing, saying, Hear ye my voice, and I will be to you a Jehovah, and ye shall be to me a people, and walk ye in all my ways which I shall command you, that it may be well with you. 24 But they hearkened not to me, and their ear gave no heed, but they walked in the imaginations of their evil heart, and went backward, and not forward. 25 From the day that their fathers went forth out of the land of Egypt, even until this day. And I sent to you all my servants, the prophets, by day and early in the morning, yea, I sent them. 26 But they hearkened not to me, and their ear gave no heed, and they made their neck harder than their fathers. 27 Therefore thou shalt speak this word to them. 28 This is the nation which has not hearkened to the voice of Elohim, nor received correction, truth has failed from their mouth. 29 Cut off thine hair, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on thy lips, for Elohim has reprobated and rejected the generation that does these things. 30 For the children of Judah have wrought evil before me, saith Elohim, they have set their abominations in the house on which my name is called, to defile it. 31 And they have built the altar of Taphi, which is in the valley of the son of Enom, to burn their sons and their daughters with fire, which I did not command them to do, neither did I design it in my heart. 32 Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Elohim, when they shall no more say, the altar of Taphi, and the valley of the son of Enom, but the valley of the slain, and they shall bury in Taphi, for want of room. 33 And the dead bodies of this people shall be for food to the birds of the sky, and to the wild beasts of the earth, and there shall be none to drive them away. 34 And I will destroy out of the cities of Judah, and the streets of Jerusalem, the voice of them that make merry, and the voice of them that rejoice, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, for the whole land shall become a desolation. Jeremiah 8:1 At that time, saith Elohim, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, out of their graves. 2 And they shall spread them out to the sun, and the moon, and to all the stars, and to all the host of heaven, which they have loved, and which they have served, and after which they have walked, and to which they have held, and which they have worshipped, they shall not be mourned for. Neither shall they be buried, but they shall be for an example on the face of the earth. 3 Because they chose death rather than life, even to all the remnant that are left of that family, in every place whither I shall drive them out. 4 For thus saith Elohim, shall not he that falls arise? Or he that turns away, shall he not turn back again? 5 Wherefore has this my people turned away with a shameless revolting, and strengthened themselves in their willfulness, and refused to return? 6 Hearken, I pray you, and hear, will they not speak thus, there is no man that repents of his wickedness, saying, What have I done? The runner has failed from his course, as a tired horse in his neighing. 7 Yea, the stork in the heaven knows her time, also the turtle dove and wild swallow. The sparrows observe the times of their coming in, but this my people knows not the judgments of Elohim. 8 How will ye say, We are wise, and the law of Elohim is with us? In vain have the scribes used a false pen. 9 The wise men are ashamed, and alarmed, and taken, because they have rejected the word of Elohim. What wisdom is there in them? 10 Therefore will I give their wives to others, and their fields to new inheritors, and they shall gather their fruits, saith Elohim. 13 There are no grapes on the vines, and there are no figs on the fig trees, and the leaves have fallen off. 14 Why do we sit still? Assemble yourselves, and let us enter into the strong cities, and let us be cast out there, for Jehovah has cast us out, and made us drink water of gall, because we have sinned before him. 15 We assembled for peace, but there was no prosperity, for a time of healing, but behold anxiety. 16 We shall hear the neighing of his swift horses out of Dan, the whole land quaked at the sound of the neighing of his horses, and he shall come, and devour the land and the fullness of it, the city, and them that dwell in it. 17 For, behold, I send forth against you deadly serpents, which cannot be charmed, and they shall bite you. 18 Mortally with the pain of your distressed heart. 19 Behold, there is a sound of the cry of the daughter of my people from a land afar off, is not Elohim in Sion? Is there not a king there? Because they have provoked me with their graven images, and with strange vanities. 20 The summer is gone, the harvest is past, and we are not saved. 21 For the breach of the daughter of my people I have been saddened, in my perplexity pangs have seized upon me as of a woman in travail. 22 And is there no balm in Galaad, or is there no physician there? Why has not the healing of the daughter of my people taken place? Psalms 135. 1 Alleluia. Praise ye the name of Elohim, praise Elohim, ye his servants, 2 Who stand in the house of Elohim, in the courts of the house of our Jehovah. 3 Praise ye Elohim, for Elohim is good, sing praises to his name, for it is good. 4 For Elohim has chosen Jacob for himself, and Israel for his peculiar treasure. 5 For I know that Elohim is great, and our Elohim is above all gods. 6 All that Elohim willed, he did in heaven, and on the earth, in the sea, and in all deeps. 7 Who brings up clouds from the extremity of the earth, he has made lightnings for the rain, he brings winds out of his treasures. 8 Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of man and beast. 9 He sent signs and wonders into the midst of thee, O Egypt, on Pharaoh, and on all his servants. 10 Who smote many nations, and slew mighty kings, 11 Son king of the Amorites, and Og king of Bashan, and all the kingdoms of Chanaan, 12 And gave their land for an inheritance to Israel his people. 13 O Elohim, thy name endures forever, and thy memorial to all generations. 14 For Elohim shall judge his people, and comfort himself concerning his servants. 15 The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. 16 They have a mouth, but they cannot speak, they have eyes, but they cannot see. 17 They have ears, but they cannot hear, for there is no breath in their mouth. 18 Let those who make them be made like to them, and all those who trust in them. 19 O house of Israel, bless ye Elohim, O house of Aaron, bless ye Elohim. 20 O house of Levi, bless ye Elohim, ye that fear Elohim, bless Elohim. 21 Blessed in Sion be Elohim, who dwells in Jerusalem. Psalms 136. 1 Alleluia. Give thanks to Jehovah, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. 2 Give thanks to Jehovah of gods, for his mercy endures forever. 3 Give thanks to Elohim of lords, for his mercy endures forever. 4 To him who along has wrought great wonders, for his mercy endures forever. 5 To him who made the heavens by understanding, for his mercy endures forever. 6 To him who established the earth on the waters, for his mercy endures forever. 7 To him who alone made great lights, for his mercy endures forever. 8 The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endures forever. 9 The moon and the stars to rule the night, for his mercy endures forever. 10 To him who smote Egypt with their firstborn, for his mercy endures forever. 11 And brought Israel out of the midst of them, for his mercy endures forever. 12 With a strong hand, and a high arm, for his mercy endures forever. 13 To him who divided the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endures forever. 14 And brought Israel through the midst of it, for his mercy endures forever. 15 And overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his mercy endures forever. 16 To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his mercy endures forever. 17 To him who smote great kings, for his mercy endures forever. 18 And slew mighty kings, for his mercy endures forever. 19 Son king of the Amorites, for his mercy endures forever. 20 And Og king of Bashan, for his mercy endures forever. 21 And gave their land for an inheritance, for his mercy endures forever. 22 Even an inheritance to Israel his servant, for his mercy endures forever. 23 For Elohim remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endures forever. 24 And redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endures forever. 25 Who gives food to all flesh, for his mercy endures forever. 26 Give thanks to Jehovah of heaven, for his mercy endures forever. Psalms 137. 1 For David, a psalm of Jeremiah's. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat, and wept when we remembered Sion. 2 We hung our harps on the willows in the midst of it. 3 Further they that had taken us captive asked of us the words of a song, and they that had carried us away asked a hymn, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Sion. 4 How should we sing Elohim's song in a strange land? 5 If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget its skill. 6 May my tongue cleave to my throat, if I do not remember thee, if I do not prefer Jerusalem as the chief of my joy. 7 Remember, O Elohim, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to its foundations. 8 Wretched daughter of Babylon. Blessed shall he be who shall reward thee as thou hast rewarded us. 9 Blessed shall he be who shall seize and dash thine infants against the rock. Psalms 138. 1a Psalm for David, of Aggeus and Zacharias. I will give thee thanks, O Elohim, with my whole heart, and I will sing psalms to thee before the angels, for thou hast heard all the words of my mouth. 2 I will worship toward thy holy temple, and give thanks to thy name, on account of thy mercy and thy truth, for thou hast magnified thy holy name above everything. 3 In whatsoever day I shall call upon thee, hear me speedily, thou shalt abundantly provide me with thy power in my soul. 4 Let all the kings of the earth, O Elohim, give thanks unto thee, for they have heard all the words of thy mouth. 5 And let them sing in the ways of Elohim, for great is the glory of Elohim. 6 For Elohim is high, and yet regards the lowly, and he knows high things from afar off. 7 Though I should walk in the midst of affliction, thou wilt quicken me, thou hast stretched forth thine hands against the wrath of mine enemies, and thy right hand has saved me. 8 O Elohim, thou shalt recompense them on my behalf, thy mercy, O Elohim, endures forever, overlook not the works of thine hands.